together. What? What's this? What is that? Sorry. Anyway, today, first day of Giallo July, okay? Readathon. I'm gonna put all the details below, okay? Like, I said in my video, like I did a TBR video last week, and I sort of said all the details and stuff, but if you want to know everything about it, and you want to jump on board, all the stuff's below, like who's running it, everything, etc. This readathon, I feel, is like right up my street, okay? It's like, murder mysteries, you know, and like old school like thriller, you know, like kind of like a slasher type, but not like a really super scary one, you know, more like a sort of noir type feel. And I'm for it. I'm down. Let's do it. It's like a reading one and a watching one. That's right. I'm gonna watch some shit. So I got loads of books that are on my shelf that I feel that will work for this. Ones that I always buy. I always see them. Like, this is doing my head in. This is getting right on my tits. What is that? Like, it just suddenly a huge chunk of my hair doesn't go all the way. Like, that's brand new. This is a brand new development. This little piece of hair not going all the way. Like, what has happened? Have I been attacked in the night by scissors or something? Okay, because yesterday, swear to God, this piece went all the way. Like, what's happened? I need to do something about it. Hold on. Okay, sorry, like, Giallo July, okay? Let's do light reading vlog. Light reading vlog. I've been neglecting the booktubes, okay? I have just been busy doing loads of shit. I don't know what's happened this year. Like, I have not been able to delve fully into the booktubes all year, basically, okay? But let's do it. July. Giallo July, okay? I got loads of shit on the docket. Found loads of books on my shelf that'll work, okay? I'm gonna start with, okay, two I'm starting with different vibes, okay? So just to make sure that, you know, one of them is like kicking it for me, starting with two. First one, Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This one is sort of like Mexican, sort of gothic, I think. Goon for Hire, Mexico City, 1970s. Okay, that. Also, I found this bookmark. Any Americans anywhere who remember, like, about roughly just after 9/11, like the 2001 to 2005 era of people making random shit like this for no good damn reason. I've had this bookmark for about 25 years, and it's literally all the bookmarks I get, banging ones, hilarious ones, my favorite ones, they all disappear or die or get wet or whatever. This one, for some reason, he just hangs around. You cannot kill this fucker. Like, I've had this since I was basically a child. Anyway, okay, next one. McBain, Ghosts. This, I feel, is like an actual Bert recommendation, okay, which puts it at the top of the Giallo July, you know, triage list. So, starting with those babies, and we'll see how we get on, shall we? James, my husband, he's away for the day. He's in Bulgaria, living his, like, life. He gets to be 20 again for a week. They were like doing those things, you know, in clubs where it's like in a balloon and you like suck the balloon and it's got like stuff in it. And like, you know, like chatting up like local girls and stuff, and like drinking all night every night, you know. Like he's not 45. Like, I don't know what he thinks he's doing. But he's back tomorrow, and then I will have like less of a really intense life. Like, while I'm here on my own, like, it's fine, like whatever, but I got a kid, I got a dog who's got an injured foot. You know, it's the end of the school year as well, loads of stuff going on. So this week while he was gone, I was like, holy shit, like event. And I went on holiday to Montenegro the week before that. So it was like busy at work as well. I was like getting back on top of stuff from after like vacation and stuff. So this week has been hell. But he's back tomorrow. Which means more time for the reading. More time for Giallo July. I have not started either of these. I'll start them today, and I'll let you know. First things first, though, I gotta take my dog to the vet to get her dressing fixed. Like, she's got a bandage on her foot. She stepped on glass. Poor girl. She's gotta get a bandage every, like, couple days at the vet. It costs 40 quid a pop, bro. 40 quid every time we go in to get a bandage. For them to look at it and go, oh, it's healing nicely, and then put another bandage on it. 40 quid. Oh, it hurts. It hurts me in the chest. But I gotta do that now, and then I'll come back and I'll do some reading, and then we'll chat. So tonight, maybe we should watch like something a little bit scary, a little bit gothic. Should we watch a bit of Rebecca tonight?
What's Rebecca?
It's like there's this lady. She marries this guy, right?
Okay.
And then she goes home and she lives with the guy, but then finds out that the guy already was married before, and that the woman that he was married to like died in like mysterious circumstances, and she's left behind this really creepy housekeeper who's like being really creepy in the house and like trying to kill her and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you prefer Pentwin or Lanishan? So I've got a couple in the morning on Friday the 2nd.
My mum got me brand new Crocs.
Like, I don't want to be a dick or
And
nothing,
crop
but like,
tops.
bro, you need to get out the road.
Luckily the windows are down. And here are my Crocs. They're white. And I love the crop tops. But there's like a million different ones. I just chose Hello Kitty Halloween and The End. And then I did Chucky and that. But my mom's, there is a middle finger one. Like, I was like, Mom, can I have this on my Croc? And she was like, no.
I'm still fuming about that guy giving me that filthy look after he was in my way.
What do you mean?
Ugh.
What look did he give you?
He just gave me a look like, how dare you?
Walk in the road.
You jerk. Be driving by here when I'm clearly trying to walk in the road.
You just went for a red.
No, it's pink.
Mom!
Y'all, the Velvet Was the Night audiobook has dropped into my Libby app today, like a couple hours ago. It's like the gods and angels of the Libby app knew that I was reading this book today. I only got to about chapter 2 or something. Like, you know, I hadn't gotten very far reading the actual book before it dropped onto my phone, my hold for the audiobook. And I mean, the audiobook's not great. Like, I think maybe it's possibly that the actual author is reading it or something. Like, that's what it tends to be when it's just like a little bit crap. Like, I don't think it's like a professional actor doing the reading, which is annoying. Okay, but I've heard worse audiobooks, honestly. Like, it's not that bad. So I've been listening to that and painting, okay? Because I got other projects on the go. Have we talked about this? We talked about the crying journal. We'll talk about it in a second. But basically, okay, a rundown of this beauty at the minute. 1970s Mexico City. You've got two narrators and they switch between telling their stories, okay? You've got one guy who's like, his name is Elvis, but he's named himself Elvis because he's obsessed with Elvis. He's like a fists for hire. He works with this like gang group who rough up communists and like student protesters and stuff. And then you've got this other girl. She's just turned 30. Her life is a bit crap. She doesn't like her job. Like, her family sort of ignores her. Like, she doesn't have any, you know, like, relationships on the go. She doesn't do anything particularly fun. She sort of hangs out. Like, her life is a bit sort of going nowhere. And she does a cat sit for her neighbor so that she can like steal stuff in her house. Like, she tends to be like, people will be like, oh, can you watch my turtle or can you water my plants or like whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, totally. And then she gets money off them for doing that. But really she's said that she'll do it so that she can go into their house and like snoop around and like wear their shoes for a bit and then like steal something from their house. Anyway, our girl, her name was Maite. She does the cat sitting, right? She decides to do a cat sit for her neighbor named Leonora. She doesn't know Leonora very well, okay? But she's like, okay, I'm going to do it because Leonora says she's going to pay her like loads of money. And she's like really interested in going into Leonora's house. So she says yes, but then Leonora goes missing. She sort of says like a panicked phone call to Maite. She's like, can you please bring my cat and this box of papers or whatever to this like weird printing press location? And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, no, take a cab. I'll pay for the cab. I'll pay you triple the amount. Like blah, blah, blah. And Maite's like, okay, like I do need this money. So she decides to do it. She goes to this printing press. Leonora doesn't meet her. She goes to Leonora's sister's house. Still nothing. Okay. And she's like, what the, like, I'm not keeping this cat. I hate this cat. Also, I need to be paid. Okay, but turns out Leonora, she's disappeared. She's nowhere to be seen. Turns out as well that she was like one of these like communist students, one of these like rebel rouser protester types. My God, the hideousness. Okay. And then I think now our situation will be that both Elvis, our sort of like ruffian type guy, who is like a ruffian with a heart. I love a ruffian with a heart, you know, like he's like a fisticuff sort of guy, just based on circumstance. Like, what else is he gonna do? You know, he doesn't have an education good enough to like get him like proper jobs, stuff like this. Like, he's got to do it, but he doesn't love it. Like, his heart's not into the fisticuffs. He'd rather be like, you know, the guy in charge, the sort of like educated guy who has like black coffee and like sophisticated stuff at cafes, you know? So now, I think what we're looking at now from here, we're going to have Elvis and Maita looking for Leonora together. Or not together, but like, you know, both of them sort of looking for her. Both of them sort of like looking into the case of how she's disappeared. Bum, bum, ba. The case of missing Leonora. Okay, just quickly. Now, I've been listening to this thing, okay, while painting. This is my crying log, my crying journal notebook, okay? I decided at the beginning of this year, I was gonna be like, okay, every time I cry, I'm gonna write it down, and then I'm gonna put it as part of like a zine, or like a sort of like crying notebook, like an ode to crying. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, why is it that people are like, oh, you know, don't cry, oh, chin up, oh, like, oh, she's crying, she's so emotional. Like, oh, what if stuff makes me cry? Like, and what if it does? You know, like, I'm not a monster. Okay, loads of stuff like movies, TV shows, stuff like that, like, it's meant to make you cry. How can you sit in the middle of a sad movie? Like, I got friends that will go to these movies with me. They'll go to hideously sad movies and they'll just be like, stone face the whole time. Like, what are you doing, bro? This is sad as shit. Okay, anyway, so, this one was on the 12th of June. This was when Maisie stepped on glass and I was upset about it. But then this one, the one that I've had to do today, while listening to this thing, I was stressed this week because there was loads of stuff on, loads of events for Anwen, like the dog, I needed to do stuff for her, and then James was away, and then I had loads of stuff at work, and I just like got all on top of me, and I had like a bit of a cry, a little one, just a little one. Like, I feel like this is a good scene for that. You know, like, it's nice, it's not bad. It was just enough crying to relieve the stress. Do you know what I mean? Without getting like the splotchy, like exhausted feeling that you get from crying too long. I feel like it was like, you know, a good cry. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna put here. Like, I usually sort of like put like a little sort of description or something, like a little poetic something to sort of describe the feeling of why the crying happened. We'll put that there, but we're not doing that right now, my God, because we are 9 minutes late to get Anwen from cheerleading. If I show up late again, she is gonna be so pissed. Like, my God, so pissed. Are you feeling creeped out yet?
No. No, nothing yet.
But it's like creepy vibes, isn't it?
Like, I'll only be scared if something like jumps out of there.
Or maybe something what?
Maybe it's hair.
Oh, yeah. I think she like drowned.
Now
I dreamt I went to Mandalay again.
Now I have fairy
I
vibes.
dreamt I once lay a dark and tortured jungle grew, risen from the dead.
Oh, shit.
Like all dreamers, I was alone.
It's like we're in the movie.
It's kind of a cool car.
Yeah, I like that car.
Dan Brace is the evil housekeeper.
The estate has been in the family for over 300 years.
Okay. Okay. I'm super tired today, and I'm in like meetings. Hell. So many meetings. So much difficulty in giving a shit. But last night I finished Rebecca, and it was brilliant. It was really good. Yeah, like, I really, really love that book, and I really, really love Daphne du Maurier. So I was like, I think when the movie officially like first came out ages ago, I think I didn't watch it then because I was like worried, you know, like because the movie's never as good as the book, and I was like, there's no possible way this is going to be as good as the book. And it wasn't, obviously, but it was still quite good. It was good. Yeah, like Rebecca, I don't know if you know this one, if you've read it, whatever, Daphne du Maurier, she's fucking master at this, okay? So it's this guy, his wife dies in sort of like mysterious circumstances, and he goes to the continent to sort of like find himself and to like chill out. He meets this woman who's like staff to this rich woman, so she's not rich herself, like he's rich. He like owns this massive house, this like massive beautiful like house in England, and he meets this girl who's not rich herself but is like staff. She's like a lady's maid or like a companion to a rich woman who's not very nice. And he sort of like gets to know her, whatever, and then sort of like takes her on trips and stuff while they're in Monaco, you know, and then falls in love with her. And then she's like, oh, I have to go now, like this rich person I work for, like she said we have to go because she's like found out about this affair. And then the guy, Maxim de Winter, he's like, no, marry me instead. I'll take you away to my house, Manderley in Cornwall. So they have this like beautiful love affair, and they go back to Manderley, and it's this beautiful house, but then everything starts to go a bit wrong because she sort of gets caught up in like the workings of the house, and this like housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers, she was like the nanny, like the housekeeper for the first Mrs. de Winter, Maxim's first wife, Rebecca, when she was a child. So she's really close to Rebecca, and now Rebecca's dead, and she sort of thinks, oh, this other woman that's come now, this new Mrs. de Winter, she doesn't hold a candle to Rebecca. This was all supposed to be Rebecca's, you know, it's not fair that she can't have it. So, you know, so she manipulates the new Mrs. de Winter and sort of like pulls her and her husband apart, and like, you know, sows like all this like discord and stuff, and is like super creepy and like goes in the shadows, you know. And then like, no spoilers or anything, but we find out what's happened to the first Mrs. de Winter. And there's like, you know, a court, a sort of like a trial, like, oh, you know, who's done this to her, blah blah blah. Anyway, it's brilliant. It's so good. It's so like, it's just a good vibe, good creepy, like unsettling sort of vibe, like Daphne du Maurier. She's just amazing. Anyway, okay, so this is our plan, right? So Giallo plan, like our Giallo plan isn't turning out very Giallo. Like, it's not as like slashery, I think, or like as thrillery as Giallo. It's more, I think it's turning out to be just like dark mysteries, more like, but I don't hate it. Like Bert, he was on about these like 70s Giallo movies that I should watch. Like I've looked, I might watch them. There's like also one that's like got this like creepy mask thing, this like baby face mask or whatever. Like, I don't know, okay, I might watch it, but anyway, so the ones that I was sort of thinking next, okay, so we've sorted this one. I'm thinking maybe the next one, The Hour or Ripley, I might watch next. James is home now. We got home last night at like 4 in the morning or like 3 in the morning or something ridiculous. Why I'm so fucking tired. And he might watch one of these with me. Maybe like Ripley, he might be into that, or Pale Blue Eye. Don't know. We'll see now. Oh shit! I gotta go to my meeting. Fuck. There are about 80 million detectives in this book. Oh, like okay. To be fair, like I understand, in real life, you know, in a real detective bureau or whatever, like you need loads of cops. Like obviously, like you know, one cop isn't gonna do it. But, like, in a story, surely we can just, like, cap that shit out at 3? Like, honestly, basically, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure our main guys, they're Corella and Hawes, okay? If Corella and Hawes are our main dudes, what do I need to know the other dudes for, okay? If they're there just, like, for banter, that's fine. We like a bit of bants, okay? But, like, do I need to know their names? Can they just sort of, like, come in stage left, you know, say their line, and then fuck off? Do you know what I mean? I need to know that they're named, you know, Kevin or whatever, the shit. And, like, they'll say a name one time, and then they'll bring it up, like, one other time in relation to something else. Like, I don't remember who that is. My dude? That's too many names of people that I don't think are that important. I'm tired of this now. I need a nap. Oh my god. Okay, this morning, right? Like, my husband was away. I was like, oh my god, please come back. Like, I'd be a terrible single mother. Like, all of our dependents, our dog, our kid, our house, all this crap. Like, I can't do it on my own. I need some help. So I was like, please come back. Then he came back, okay? And I realised he's just like a new kind of stress in a completely different way. Like, this morning, I was like sorting everything out with Anwen. I was like doing, like, she smacked her head. She has this like massive red thing. It looks like we beat her. So I was like, we better do something about this. I was like putting makeup on it. I was like, and he came in like sort of bouncing around. He's like, I need to get in here. I need to use the toilet. Like, I need to right now. And he's like, get out. I was like, but just sec. He's like, oh, I gotta go. And I was like, but I got all this stuff. Like, I was like grabbing all the stuff. And like, and from then, just been super stressed. Super like rushing, like everything off my game, you know, because it wasn't like in the order of things. Like, it stressed me out. Like, I didn't grab my computer for work. I had to go back and get my computer. Then outside it was raining. I had to come back and get my coat. Had to take some stuff out of my bag in order to fit the coat in the bag, blah blah blah. And then it turned out that the stuff that I took out of the bag, I needed that stuff. I had wet wipes in there, and we spilled her thing all over herself. I needed wet wipes, didn't have wet wipes. Get to school. My kid's like, Mom, it's violin day. It's violin show day. We have like an end of year violin show. I don't have my violin. I was like, shit. So I phoned James. Phoned him. I think he's in the toilet again. I don't know what's happened. Maybe showering. He's not answering his phone. So I call the house phone. Goes for ages and ages and ages. Nothing. Phone him again. He answers. I'm like, oh my god, the violin. This needs a violin show. Can you bring it in? He like goes downstairs and he's like, the violin's not here. I was like, what do you mean the violin's not there? Turns out the violin, like, Alan left it in school last time she had violin. I think it was a week ago, maybe a week before, I don't know. Like, last week she said she needed to use somebody else's violin, so she doesn't even know that the violin's there. I was like, can you phone the school, have them send a message to Anwen, says look for your violinist in the school somewhere. Okay, anyway, I've just got to work. I've come late, but no one else is here. Everyone else is late as well, so I'm gonna like set up all my stuff, you know, and be like, God, where have you guys been? I've been here for ages. It's gonna be a long day.
And she said she saw Shania.
Okay, McBain, Ghost. I finished it. I'm gonna go with, I think, 3 stars? I don't know, maybe 4. I don't know how I feel. Those people on forums who are like fans of this like 87th Precinct series said this one wasn't their favourite, sort of a later one. I feel like he's sort of getting off his game a bit. So I might try another one. And it's not very like, I don't know, like it's a bit, I don't know, it's not very Giallo-y. I thought there would be like more of like a thriller element, less like, I don't know, just like pure like mystery bit. But I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. It was okay. And there was like a bit of a supernatural element, not very intense, like where there's like ghosts and this like detective like sees a ghost. And like we don't know actually in the end if he did see a ghost. The ghost didn't help him in any way to like solve the crime or whatever, so maybe it's real, maybe it's not real, I don't know. Whatever. But basically this guy, he's like a writer or whatever. He like wrote this like horror thing, this like true story haunted house thing. And he was murdered. And also this woman outside his flat on the same day was also murdered. And then also in like the course of the book, his agent is murdered. And so all of these like 80s sort of like, I don't know, old school manly men detective type dudes have to solve this murder. Like the guy who was like stabbed like 20 times or some shit. And like at the end, like no spoilers or anything, but it's like one of these like old school endings to a sort of like mystery as well, where you're not even introduced to the person that did it until like the very end. Do you know what I mean? And then it just like all comes out at once. Like they sit him down and they're like, how did you do it? And he says, I did it like this. And he said, why did you do it? He says, I did it for this. You know, like it's just like straight, like it leaves nothing for you to figure out yourself and to wonder, oh, did I figure that out right? Like just in case you weren't paying attention and you didn't get to that conclusion on your own, we're going to spell it out for you completely in exactly this way. And like no murder on earth goes, yeah, I did it like this. Do they? No, they're just like, oh, I didn't do it, like blah blah blah, or like, oh, I'll do a plea deal. Like they don't. Anyway, it was okay, but holding out more for this one as a 5 stars. Holding out hope. Are we ready to go voting? Are we ready to go voting? You got all your stuffs on. Got your poop bags? Okay, let me get my card. Okay, let's go voting. Okay, smashed it. Just finished this one now. And I'm gonna go with, I think, 4 stars? Maybe 5 stars, maybe. Like, I didn't hate this, fully enjoyed it. Okay, characters, really good. You've got like our girl who's 30, you know, she doesn't really have any excitement in her life. She lives all of her life through like exciting comic books and like romances and sort of like Pulp Fiction and stuff. And then she gets sort of caught up with Leonora, her roommate, and then sort of starts to have like a bit of an exciting life, and she's sort of like, you know, eating it up. She's like, oh my god, ooh, he's so handsome, and he's like, you know, like a bad guy, ooh, like, and she gets a bit of a love affair, you know, gets whisked off places. There's like guns appearing. She's like, ooh, there's guns, I'm so scared. And you've got your other guy, Elvis, who, you know, he doesn't really have a lot of options, so he ends up being like a bit of a thug, doesn't want to be a thug, you know, and he looks up to this like guy, this like gentleman guy, like wants to be this gentleman, but who is this gentleman exactly? We don't really know his backstory. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? We don't know. Anyway, setting like is cool. Like it's like based on sort of a real setting, you know, Mexico City in the 70s, with sort of communists sort of coming out of the woodwork, and like students sort of embracing socialism and stuff like this, and the government like hitting back really hard on that, sort of like bringing out the goon squad and like trying to suppress things really intensely, like suppressing rock music and stuff, because like young people are using it, I don't know, as a way to sort of, I don't know, spread communist ideology. I don't know, like it's silliness, but brilliant. And like the ending, like no spoilers or anything, but it was a bit of a twister ending, you know. I didn't really see it coming. I enjoyed this. This is good. She calls it, the author as well, she calls it Pulp Fiction, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't as much as like that as I thought. Not as slashery, you know, just sort of, it was a thriller though. So maybe it is sort of Giallo. Like I was hoping it'd be more like Giallo July-ish than it was. But it is sort of it. And I enjoyed it. Okay, but doubling down, okay, like I need to really hit my Giallo situation. I feel like going with Patricia Highsmith is going to be how I do this, okay, for next time. Like I'll end this vlog here. I'll go ahead and end this. It's like long as, like, whatever, okay, but next one, okay, I reckon our next things, our next 2 books and our next movie, okay, we should just like double down on the Patricia Highsmith. I feel like it can be like our theme for the week. Like next week's theme shall be Patricia Highsmith. We'll go. For our audiobook one, we'll do Strangers on a Train, okay? For our book we read, we'll do Deep Water, okay? And then for our movie experience, our Netflix experience at home, we're gonna go with Ripley on Netflix. How do we feel? How do we feel about that for next time? Okay, Strangers on a Train. This one is where these 2 people kill for each other. So one like wants his wife to be murdered by someone, and one like wants his dad to be murdered by somebody, and they like meet each other, and they're like, oh, if I kill my wife, they're gonna know it was me, but if you kill my wife, you know, they switch like that. And then this one, Deep Water, this one is like a bit Rebecca-y, I think. This guy's wife, she's beautiful and she's got all these lovers, and she sort of like flaunts her lovers in front of him and like really pisses him off. And then one of her lovers is murdered. He didn't do it, or maybe he did, I don't know, but then it sort of hints that maybe he does do other stuff later. I don't know. This one sounds quite thrillery. Okay, we'll do that for the next one, shall we? Next week. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Thank you. If you have any thoughts for me, thoughts on the books or the Giallo July readathon or the movie Rebecca or anything, literally anything, please let me know. Love a comment, me. If you're also doing Giallo July, let me know. I think I found loads of people who are, and I've like watched their stuff, you know, to get ideas, sort of like get in there. But maybe just let me know if you're doing it as well. Just make sure I haven't missed you and watched your stuff. Okay. I will see you next week. Okay. Goodbye.